I wish to discuss with you the quality of the human stock from the point of view of one who feels that there is no more urgent task that lies to hand.
Forced sterilization of Indigenous women constitutes torture.
A class action lawsuit alleges it's happening right here in Canada.
They were badgered into getting sterilized.
This is absolutely unacceptable, and we will do all that we can to ensure that this no longer occurs.
Indigenous women in this country are still subjected to the harm of ongoing colonialism and systemic discrimination.
The great aim of our legislation has been to do away with the tribal system and assimilate the Indian people in all respects with other inhabitants of the Dominion as speedily as they are fit to change. If we leave the young Indian girl who's to mature into a squaw to have the uncivilized habits of the tribe, the Indian, when he marries such a squaw, will likely be pulled into Indian savagery by her. I have known how difficult it is to eradicate that hereditary taint. It has occurred to me during the year that it might be expedient to provide for compulsory sterilization. I am of the opinion that sterilization in this case would be justified and beneficial to the Eskimos generally. The patient is a mentally defective Indian girl who has always been incorrigible, wild, undisciplined, and promiscuous. Sterilization is, therefore, strongly recommended to prevent the patient from having illegitimate children.
A guy like me is very cut in a difficult situation. I like to be fair with everybody, and it's not an easy job.
There is no policy on behalf of the government to sterilize Indian women.
Today, the UN Committee Against Torture released a report confirming what we've known all along. Indigenous women continue to be coerced into sterilization in Canada.
I was born and raised in Fort Chipewyan, Alberta. I'm of the Chipewyan tribe. And at a very young age of 7.5 years old, I caught tuberculosis. And in the classroom, I was coughing up blood on my desk. The nuns decided to send me to Edmonton. We caught a little aircraft, a small bush plane, and the morning after, I was accompanied to the railroad station. And they used to call the train the Muskeg Express because a lot of that track was built on muskeg. I arrived in Edmonton, and a grey nun, I'm assuming she was from the Charles Camsell Indian Hospital. She met me there and took me to the hospital. And about 2 days later, I got surgery, and they removed the upper lobe of my right lung. And after the surgery, I was walking around visiting, and like a young lad that I was, curious about life and everything else. They took it upon themselves, the staff, I don't know who or what, that they should take my pajama bottoms off to prevent me from walking around and going to visiting and everything else. I still used to go running around bare butt and visiting. And one day they came and they said, we're going to put some casts on you. They didn't tell me why or what for. They put a cast just below my knee to just above my ankle on both legs. And they put a bar across about 6 inches apart that prevented me from walking. And that's what I was put in this little room, approximately 10 by 10. There was no window. There's the end of the hallway. I was just like a prisoner, no word of a lie, just the way I was treated. And in order for me to go to the toilet, I had to go hop in such a manner like a penguin to go to the bathroom. And on a few occasions, there was an orderly, and he'd get me into the bathroom, and he sodomized me. I didn't have any schooling there at all. I had no visitors whatsoever in the 2.5 years I was there. Loneliness come upon me many, many different times. And one day out of the blue, they said, we're sending you home. One of the biggest joys in my life is leaving that hospital and going home. In this whole life that I experienced, you will not see any tears in my eyes, for I quit crying a long, long time ago. It comes a point where now, in my lifetime, I'm compelled to tell my story. My name is Sonny James McDonald, and I want the world out there to know exactly what happened.
How is it that a belly full of black smoke is so empty, yet so heavy? I am alone. I need a nanatsia. My nanatsia was born into independence. Seal blood coursing as milk from her mother's breasts. A set of paw prints and sled tracks heading to horizons filled with ancestors and kin holding each other. Ananatsia ananaili iqamavaqpiu.
Uruga tigunaktama iqasuga.
Colonization was my Ananatsiak's puberty. When she turned 13, wave after wave of white men, coins clinking, catechism, catechism, cataclysm, cataclysm, cough, cough, cough. You didn't know it would be the last day you had with your mom?
Kawi marangi langa utilaw si majangit tu vinyugyangan.
I don't remember my mom. My Ananatsiak's father had Qimmi helping him travel over the land and ice. I imagine the stillness when his dogs were killed by the police. No howls, no jostling. The opposite of a riot is stillness. And for Inuit, silence is not acquiescence. Silence is often protest. No dogs, no wife, no mother for his children, no burial for his love. His still silence must have been deafening.
Uqumait tiuraqtu nunagiyattinni nuutitaulluta piyumatinnata kaaraqtugu ilinniaquyauriqattaru angayoqqaaqaqunneeqatta iliartuquraqtugu ullu ilanganni isumainnaqilluta nutaqauraqpugu asuilaaglu ayoqsariqilluta innaqutuaqatta gavamaqingitattinnu aittugatuinnauriqluta ikayugartuinnauriqluta unikkautinga ullumili inuusuktuulluni qanuittuuriqpa.
It's still hard, Ananatsia. Last night my friend wanted to die. She's okay now, but we're all scared.
Uvagunang minak makitautiksatinni sangineriattinningaartuni piyunnartuk sangijutigiya kayusijutigigunnagligiya.
My ulu has the patina of family, of my great-grandmother and my grandmother and my mother. The everyday actions of my ulu glow with continuity. They never took this away from me. Ananatsia, it's 3 years since you died. I want to share a cup of tea and palauga with you. Iluit du yugut suli, iluit du vugut, iluit du nginak bugut.
just be a little outside of this one. Like here is fine.
Yeah.
But maybe like this or like that.
Okay, so follow that natural line.
Yeah. His death shouldn't be in vain. It's part of history, and I think by having his face out there, it brings attention to like Aboriginal health and wellness and lives. Then it's important, very important piece. Having a face out there, people are going to know about him. He's going to educate them. It's the only way change is going to happen. Is if everybody start recognizing. Being in his neighborhood is pretty powerful. A lot of people come through here, and I'd say 60% of the people that come through here know exactly who this is. I went searching, there's not a ton of photographs. There's this one, and it's a black and white one. And it's a good one. Like he's off looking, into who knows. So I thought I'll make it look like he's downtown somewhere. Ambulance colors, colors from police cars. It's like there's an urgency there with those kind of lights. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out where to place the numbers, where to place hours. People, when they're walking by, they see this number, and then it gets them asking what it means. 34 hours right at the top, and then, you know what? Right below it, I'm gonna do 45 years.
Just pull and take that. Yeah, I'm diabetic, so this is going to be good for my circulation and energy. There's some strawberry there too, eh? Did you see that? Strawberry plant?
Nice. Here and there, strawberry, it's a heart medicine, and it has vines. And that's how our veins are in our heart, in the body.
Because we used to see them all the way down this road. There's rabbit food here.
Yeah, there's tons.
Okay, look. Oh my gosh, that's like gold. Look at this. There's like a ton of it. You could just smell it once you get into the earth. Yeah. Eureka! I've been looking for a few years. This is the Wike medicine. One of the unique properties of it is pain relief. Into the ground and locate the fruit.
We have a purpose, these plants. They are brothers and sisters, and they have a purpose like we have a purpose to survive, to heal one another. That's their gift to us, and for us to honor that. Sweetgrass represents the hair of Mother Earth. So when you see a braid of sweetgrass, there's many teachings about it. And when you look at the sweetgrass after it's braided, it only has two. You never see the third one. It's the man and woman and the child to come. Man, woman, child. Man, woman, child. We harvest lots of these plants, and it's hard work, but when I dedicated my life to help people, this is part of it. People come to us, and every person with an illness, there's a plan to heal them.
I remember following Stella from place to place, and she was flying, and I was trying to keep up with her because she took us to so many places. And I came back to camp and I was just like overwhelmed by the amount of knowledge and the teachings that they gave us.
Being stripped of the use of our land, I couldn't believe that people could be that cruel. I felt like I wasn't whole because I couldn't make that connection to the plants, the trees. That disconnection, that was not my fault. That disconnection came from the government taking our land away and doing it in a very mean and cruel way. I had to heal. I had to heal my inner self. I had to get rid of all that bullshit that people put in my head and my mind, that I'm not worth anything.
I grew up in a residential school, and on a daily basis there was abuse. And that was when they cut our hair. I used to have long hair, braids my mother made. They're the antennas to the spirit world, to the Creator. And they shaved us way under. And then next was they poured that kerosene on our heads to kill our bugs, they said. I stopped being a child then. I never was a teenager like you. And then I developed this shame of my skin. I was ashamed to be an Indian.
The plants have a purpose, healing powers that we have to respect.
Now, this is wiki, rat root, could be boiled in up to 6 quarts of water if you only want to use this once. But you can boil it in 3 quarts of water.
It's very important to be connected to the medicines and to understand what you're picking and who you're picking it for. It's always been a part of who we are. When you have that relationship, the medicine works much better because you're believing in it.
I have the opportunity here that they did not have. I'm very honored to work with Stella all these years. To hear her journey and hear her speak about her life has given me strength to face what I have to face in my life.
I have this land that I can come to. I belong here. It's part of me. Now I feel whole.
Today I know I'm not a savage. Today I know our people were very spiritual. It was hidden. Today what brings me at peace is picking medicines. For the last 30 years, I've been doing that, traveling here and there to find me where I belong. Today, I belong here. I'm one of those trees, the grass, and you. I'm part of everything. I do belong.
Look how the stars shine for you, my one and only you. They're telling you I love you. I hope you forget me in heaven. I pray it's just that peaceful, that you stop looking down through the holes in the clouds, keep on basking and healing. 'Cause that could be the only trade for all these things I'm missing. And we'll catch up when the world blows up, in the land of no contrition. and meet me in the great wide open, where the milk and honey pour free, and we'll all lay down what burdens us now, in the great wide open, so free. And you'll pay off your earthly ransom, learn to extend your hand some, and there'll be plenty of stalls in the shopping mall, and never a line to stand in. And for the first time you're gonna feel ageless, like a novel in its final pages. And you'll have full bars when you're next to the stars, and finally feel what grace is. So rush me to the great wide yonder, black out the sin and sonder, turn out the light on this little old life, and allow me to be reunited. And meet me in the great wide open, where the milk and honey pour free, and we'll all lay down what burdens us now, in the great wide open, so free. Meet me in the great wide open, where the milk and honey pour free,